Hi everyone, this is Sean here. I was letting everybody know who I am and kind of get to know me a little bit better. Taking a walk a little bit here. It's in my backyard, which is quite nice. But so a little bit about me would be, I've been a mechanic for a little over 10 years. Mechanic's life never really kind of like stopped for me. It's just always something I've been, part of, whatever. Anyway, 2019 was a pretty good time for me to graduate phlebotomy school. Of course, I had to graduate 2019 and get my first hospital job 2020, obviously, right before COVID. Then COVID hit, and I worked 3 different hospitals, 3 hotspots for COVID. It's pretty darn rough. I got to see a lot of stuff in that. I got to help a lot of people too. Those were definitely dark times back then, especially with COVID going on. First didn't really even know what was going on. So me being me, of course, a lot of nurses were dropping out. Me being just a vampire, I had to do something. So basically I would just do stupid shit all day long. I was drawing blood, pass the time, help the nurses go through their day-to-day activities. Tell you one thing, phlebotomy was definitely the best thing I've done so far in my lifetime. Mechanics was pretty good, but phlebotomy showed me a lot of humility, taught me a lot of things, and I am so thankful I did that too. The second hospital I worked at, was a Trauma 1 center, and I tell you, that was pretty interesting too. A guy completely afraid of blood, completely afraid of everything, and then, I end up being one of the best students my teacher trained me. It's crazy how that kind of works out, Definitely, plenty of times I heard it. I don't understand why it even happened, but I got told, hands of an angel, that's pretty crazy. A guy that was completely terrified of blood. It's crazy how that happens. Greatest part of phlebotomy definitely for me was, being able to help people through that situation. Because when you're in that chair or in the bed and you're sick and somebody's got to come and poke and prod you, you want somebody that's being freaking good and knowing what they're doing. Because I tell you, at 5 o'clock in the freaking morning was a little retarded, but I mean, that's when it's pure. A lot of people don't know that, but to just sit here and stop and look. This is in my freaking backyard. I mean, holy crap, man, this is awesome. I got a track in my backyard, like legit. This is freaking awesome. I've had all kinds of stories you wouldn't even think to even imagine some of them. But, I mean, that's to be expected, especially if you're in the medical field. You know what I'm talking about. And I will have to tell you that, in all of those experiences, as far as phlebotomy goes, God definitely worked through me in tremendous amount of ways. It was kind of crazy how things happen, but it did. The hardest part about it to me, really, especially as a parent, 2 kids of my own, the worst feeling was, having to stick a kid. You don't want to hurt anybody. And it sucks sticking a kid, and I've had several, you know, that I just had to do. Suck it up, Buttercup. But, you know, with that, I always prayed right before. Always. Just, you know, because I wanted to get out of my own, you know, thinking. I wanted to get into his will. And, you know, when I did, every time it was just success. It was always success with the patient never feeling anything. I mean, I've done, shoot, the last little girl that I stuck, I think she was like 8 months old. Shoot, didn't feel a single thing, just nothing, had no clue. I just stole her blood. It was kind of cool, but you know, thankfully I was able to do something like that where she didn't feel none of that, which was perfect. You know, the parent was even happy about it. I mean, for me, I would definitely want, you know, to make sure that, you know, my phlebotomist knows what he's doing, or her, any one of them. You know, that was a big rock. Tripping on my own place. Anywho, at some of those points, I just had to sit down and just pray over anybody and everybody. And before I even stuck, I had to, you know, my fingers were fine. I could palpate, feel the vein and whatever. And a lot of times, 99% of the time I felt it. My fingers are weird. But there was quite a select few that just, you know, after thinking about it, like, holy cow. Like, yeah, I've had an experience where, you know, the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost actually were there. And it felt it like it in the presence of the three people that were in that room. One of them was me, the other one was an autistic kid, and his mother. And I can tell you that you felt it. It felt like God. You can't, there's no explanation behind it. I was like almost looking behind. It was kind of weird, but yeah, didn't feel a fucking vein, didn't feel nothing. Go to stick 'em, draw blood. I don't even know how to explain any of that whole situation, but I tell you, this kid had come in 4 different times to try, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, immediately I prayed. Just as I'm doing this guy's paperwork, I prayed instantly. Like, I don't even know what to do. I didn't feel anything. I had no idea. I just had to pray. And God took care of it. He did. He really did. Because, I mean, it was felt by the autistic kid and his mother. It was felt like, holy cow. Like an amazing feeling that you just can't deny that was God. So I'm definitely all about learning new things and trying to learn as much as possible. You know, I recently just graduated for electrician, industrial electrician, but I don't really know if I want to do all that, because I actually have a dream, and I've never actually chased my dream, and I want to chase it. You know, as I started this whole YouTube channel and as I started doing things, it was kind of weird because, you know, it just kind of clicked. It was like, wait a second, why shouldn't I go after for something that I want to dream of? Like, I've had so many people tell me, you can't, you just can't, you physically can't. And I'm sitting here shaking my head because, you know, when God actually does his work, you can see it. You can see it. And I'm proof of it. See me? I really don't look like, you know, I got nothing wrong, you know? I mean, I look like an average guy, you know? But when you get me on an x-ray and you see my spine, it just kind of makes you wonder, like, how in the hell? Makes me wonder all the dang time, you know? And I sat here in fear, saying, you know, I can't do this. You know, here I am, 36. You know, USF told me I would be in a wheelchair by 30. I don't think I'm in a fucking wheelchair. You know, I look pretty fucking good, but it's just, everything just seems to be happening all in a certain time frame, and it's just kind of really strange how everything is working out that way. Now, I can tell you, I've had my own sets of setbacks and troubles, and, you know, I'm still working out. You know, with phlebotomy, I learned that stationary, no good for me. No good. Nope. Very bad. I got about 2.5 years at Quest Diagnostics in a cubicle, which that was fun. Didn't last. I couldn't stay. That stationary hurts me too much. Can't do it. So I had to go back to a mechanic's job and work out all day just to get it to kind of heal up a little bit. Now I'm just working out every single day to keep my back straight, because I did post that up there and you can see that that's my actual spine. Kind of sucks. It's a little painful sometimes it's not. The awkwardness is just feeling the curves. It's kind of awkward. But I have noticed something. In chasing my dream, and you know, my dream since, God, PS1, when Gran Turismo came out in PS1, that was like my legit only damn friend. It sucked. I never really fit in anywhere. You know, especially a kid that had a fucking brace about covered his whole damn body, you know, from here to here, all the way wrapped around my body. I mean, yeah, you ain't gonna have no fucking friends. You're just gonna have people fucking laugh at your ass, which is what happened. But that's okay, because, you know, interesting enough, that made me who I am today. You know, speaking on that, kids are kids. Gonna say mean things. I deal with my kids all the day, but it's up to the parent to tell the kid how to go through life. And that's what I do with my son is, you know, people that pick on him, I always tell him, you know, something may be underlined, don't engage, just love. And that's what I gotta do too. I gotta remember it. It's kind of hard sometimes, but yeah, we'll get there. But I can definitely tell you, I too have a dark path. Especially being a mechanic, that personality kind of comes with it. You know, being that dickmonger person that, you know, feeds in alcohol raged fits. Yeah, six years of that just about destroyed everything that I owned. Came back though, came back strong, a lot stronger, and I can tell you how I did it. AA. There's no doubt about it. You know, you just got to go to rehab. You got to do the damn deal. You can't fuck around. That's what my sponsors told me, don't fuck around. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm about four years sober, which is really awesome. I try every day to, you know, thank myself, because if I didn't make that judgment call, I don't know where I would be. And, you know, I wouldn't be like walking around my backyard legitly on a track. I don't know why, but thanks to phlebotomy, that's how I got my house. Was first time Hometown for Heroes program, which thankfully DeSanta has passed that, because I definitely used it. Definitely in this journey of my AA walk, I can tell you that I found a lot of things, and I found, you know, more about myself that I didn't really understand or know, you know. And that's why at this point I'm gonna just go after my dreams, you know, because why not? You know, sometimes you just gotta live in faith, and that's what I'm gonna do today, is just gonna live in faith that this is going to work. My dream is to be a racer, and I don't know, Le Mans, dream big, fuck F1, you know, might as well. I'm small enough, and everything kind of makes sense as I piece things together, you know. Be an electrician, be up in an attic for, you know, shit, 4 hours, 4.5 hours. It's what, 100 in Florida heat? Yeah, that's probably like what, 150. Don't even care. Didn't even bother me. I've definitely done 3Gs. In Orlando at Disney World, there's a ride called Mission to Space. And Mission to Space, when it first opened up, it was actually set, I believe, at 5Gs. What it does is basically spin you around just like an astronaut would. G-Force simulator, that's all it is. My cousin got to ride it at 5. I got to ride it at 3, because they had to tone it down, because I guess some people got sick, or who knows what happened there. Today, it's sitting at like half a G, because people just kept getting sick, or who knows what happened there. But, I got to, fortunately, ride it at 3Gs, which did not affect me at all. And I tell you, you know, I felt that G. I felt the tears. It was great. It felt good to me. But, you know, testing that strength, and that's the thing is, you know, as I piece things together, I'm starting to realize that, like, yeah, I can do certain things. I can do stuff. Even with my spine looking the way it is, it's holding together pretty darn nicely, which, you know, that's a great thing for me. See, and that's how I'm starting to actually piece those things together. And, you know, today's technology, we have stuff that I didn't have when we were kids. You know, I wasn't able to do some of this stuff. You know, wasn't able to actually afford none of this shit, actually. You know, it's crazy because, you know, you buy a house from doing something that, you know, saves people's lives and stuff like that, but you can't afford the house payment because they still don't pay you enough. Which is kind of fucking weird. Yeah, that's cool. Anywho, so I basically had to start my own handyman business to actually survive. And then that's when I started figuring out, you know, I'm really not doing the things that I should be doing and not making me happy. And, you know, I'm gonna go for it. And what I mean by happy, you know, you get this light, and, you know, I miss that. And I had that light when I was doing phlebotomy. You know, you get this sense of being able to help, you know. And, you know, being in something like a high position or anything like that, or being, achieving great success with your name and being able to actually help others, that would be something right there. And I can tell you, I've already been in a position to help others, and it was life-changing for sure. Tons of people did a 6-month study on me. Actually, it was more or less like a 5-month study at Quest. Like how many people I stuck? 9,000 people in 5 months. That's crazy. I was doing probably about 35 to 40 on an average a day, talking to people, you know, using my gift with my hands. And you know, it's just how many people I connected with. And I did that for about, what, 2 years, close to 2 years. And then you know, as I got my house, then I realized, like, yeah, I can't afford to keep staying at Quest because it didn't pay the bill. Which is kind of interesting. But, you know, I started doing my own thing after mechanics. Well, actually, I had created this handyman thing actually when I was at Quest, and started using it there. But give out some, you know, magnets or something for people to put on their refrigerator as, you know, yeah, here's my business card. That's what I did. Obviously you can see the blue rose. Oh, there's so many freaking mosquitoes out here. Oh, I'm getting back to the house now. But all in all, this video was to basically get to know a little bit about me and see that, you know, I just kind of want to actually go after my dreams and then be able to spread that light, you know. And the more I go and the more I progress, it'll probably happen. Because I definitely can tell you that the time and the age that we have now, especially with the technology, it does match up. And you know, definitely stick around long enough, you'll definitely find out I'll keep going at this and trying to, you know, see if I can get more track time and get, you know, some stuff sold so I can be able to afford to get on the track some more or something. Shoot, I don't even have a car. I got a truck. That's a Nismo. I've put so much freaking money into that thing. Coming up to my house now. Not just walking in random ass woods. My house is literally up there. Yep, now I gotta walk there. Alright guys, bye.